So let's go ahead and transform this data. Okay, so immediately you hit on the transform data button. It's going to open the Power Query editor. Now you will see something happening over here in the applied steps section. In fact, if you're not seeing this one, go to view and then click on this one, query settings, and this should happen. Now over here you will see something. These are the steps as you lectures, that these steps have been added to it by Microsoft Power BI. That means first of all, it has changed the data types. Like you can see ABC and then 1 2 3 ABC 1 2 3. Microsoft Power BI did it automatically, and then you can see something like promoted headers. It means when the data came, these things here were in the headers. Okay, that is what Microsoft Power BI did. Now we are going to revert all the changes that Microsoft Power BI applied. So let's go ahead and click on this one and then this one. So when we load the data, this is what we are supposed to be seeing. All right, this is what we are supposed to be seeing. Now we are going to see some few new principles over here, so just take notes. All right, now let's go to transform. Now the first thing we are going to be doing is you see this transpose. Basically what it's going to do is we are going to select all the rows, turn them to columns, and then all the columns to rows, like that. And that is what the transform transpose tab here does. All right, so let's go ahead and click on it, and you can see that Thakrade, Kumasi, and then Accra were somewhere here. You can see them now over here. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is you can see the index 1. You can see index 1 to be year 2000, 2001, 2002. These are actually not part of our data. Okay, these are the headings that we need. So we are going to convert the index 1 to headers. Okay, so this is how we can do it. Click on this one and use first row as headers. Okay, all right, now we can see that we have this is called column 1. This is year that we have these things over here. This is not the final output we want, so we are still in the process of transforming the data. Now when you come here, you see something like Thakrade over here. Now from the data, you realize that Thakrade sold phones, laptops, and then chargers. So it means this one is for Thakrade, this is for Thakrade, and then this is the year 2000. This is Thakrade, chargers sale, laptop sale, and then up to 2014. Same applies to Kumasi. Over here is Kumasi, this is Kumasi, and this is Accra, this is Accra. Okay, but then since we don't have any data here, you can see that Power BI is reporting now over here. How can we put Thakrade back here and then Thakrade back here, Kumasi here, and the same as Accra and then Accra here? We have this tab here called fill. We are going to hit the down, and you can see that it fills it like that. This is Thakrade, this is Thakrade. If you use the app, you realize that this is going to be Accra, and then this Kumasi, and Thakrade is going to be here. Okay, so moving ahead in this transformation process, the next thing we are going to be doing is, you can see that we have Thakrade, and then these are the products that Thakrade sells. And you can see this is the year 2000. This is for 2000, and then same as 2000. This is for 2001. What do you think about if we have the year 2000 data here, then 2001 follows, then 2003 follows, 2004 follows, like that? Okay, and if you're able to transform it to that form, that means we can run our analysis on it very well. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to select all the years column, which is starting from 2000, then I hit shift and then click on this one to select all these columns, or you can do it one by one like that to select all of these columns, and then hit on pivot columns. Okay, and there we go. We have 2000, 2001, 2002 to this. Then we have Thakrade laptops. So you can see that we have the phones here, and then we have laptops over here, we have chargers over here. We come to Kumasi, the same thing applies to it. All right, so I think we've done something really cool. We've done a cool stuff over here by trying to transform that data, mess up data to this particular form. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is you can see this one to be for this particular tutorial, we are going to assume that these are quantities. The number of phones sold is 5,000 pieces. The number of phones sold by Thakrade in 2001 is 50,000 pieces. Okay, so let's go ahead and then change all these things. So let's call this one here the city. Okay, then we call this item. Let's call this the year. Then call this the quantity. Alright, okay, so if you have this, there is nothing like 26666.6 quantity. Come on, it sounds so weird. So we are going to look at one other feature of Microsoft Power BI, how to convert this thing here back to something similar to this. So we are going to round them up actually. Alright, so we are going to use let's look at the add column tab, and you can see something like rounding. So let's select this one here. That means we are going to round the values over here. Let's round it up. Okay, let's round it up, and that is going to give us this. So you can see that the 2666.66 over here is 2667. Okay, so we don't need this one. Let me remove this and then keep this one here, rename this as a quantity. Alright, so we've done something like this. And one other thing too, if you go through this one, you realize that there is a negative value over here. How can we have negative quantity? That is except to when come on, let's assume that we don't have a negative quantity, and in fact real life there is nothing going to be, we are not going to be experiencing stuff like this, like negative quantities and that. So think about it, how can we take these negative values from it? Just think about it. So how you are going to do it depends on you, but for now we are going to assume that if this is negative, this quantity, we just want to push it to 0. Okay, now let's go ahead and use the conditional column. As you remember what we did, we said we are going to put some data over here based on certain conditions. So let's go ahead and click on conditional column, and then let's call this quantity update. Alright, so we are going to say if the quantity column is less than 0, okay, if it is less than 0, then it means that we want to put 0 over there. Okay, that means if you have any negative value there, we want to put 0 there. Otherwise we just want to report that quantity number, because if you don't do this, look at what is going to happen. Just look at that, and you can see we have no, but where we have the negative values, you can see 0. We don't want this thing here to be happening. We want to keep this data. So that is exactly what we are going to do. So let's call this quantity update 2 or 1. Okay, that's okay. So if our quantity is less than 0, we want to put this value 0 there. Otherwise we want to report that same number. So we can either use an entire value or select a column. Actually we want to select a column. We want to put the quantity value over there. That is the value in there, replace it. Okay, and that is exactly what we have over here. So I'm going to take this one and this one out and rename this one here to quantity. And this brings us to the end of this particular session. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial.